Right then, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to WRC. We return for the second season running and the second round running, everybody, of this brand new season. Last week, of course, if you remember, we started out with Silverstone, and tonight we go to Spain. It's going to be a very nice race with a full grid, let me point out as well. I don't know if we had a full grid last race. I think we were just shy. I'm not entirely sure though. But full grids, of course, is what you want. Always the best kind of action you get from them. And the driver's already kick-starting it off today. A little bit late starting than usual today. As Ollie Southall, too short from last week. Yeah, I thought there was just a bit less than the full grid. I remember now, yeah, so too short from the 20. But tonight we do have 20 drivers joining us. Are all 20 of these drivers here going to finish the race? I do not know, and I don't know if they will or not, but we will find out. We'll find out, ladies and gentlemen. Still qualifying to go. 15 minutes, of course, as you know the drill now. 15 minutes of qualifying, and then a short, a shortened down race. 50% that we do here, and most racing leagues do around as well. Take about 40 minutes. Of course, this is 15 minutes in total. The stream about an hour and 15 minutes. About an hour and 25 with your post-race interviews, which come up after the race. Josh then, 1 minute 12.991, fastest man, overtaken by Billy Mewis, his teammate, who goes to the quickest spots on the board. P1 then for the Alpine of Billy. It is Josh second place, Matt Connor third, and Darrell to 5. Mackie on pole then by quite a few tenths of a second there to Billy Mewis. That is a very nice time indeed from the Ferrari, who sets a lovely time to kickstart this evening off. If I'm correct in saying, Billy Mewis then, I think started 5th on the grid last race and went home to win it at the end of it. I think I'm right in saying that. He did have a good race. Ferrari for Life did show some good racing, but at the end, unfortunately, ended up back of the grid. I'm pretty sure started second place, didn't he? Or was it on pole? I think pole position for Ferrari for Life, was it? And then he dropped down to the back of the grid. It might be Mackie on pole. Either way, these top 3 drivers were up at the top then before, which we've seen countless times. These guys are very quick, ladies and gentlemen. But 30 minutes of your session, a long while to go, and 10 drivers so far have set times on the board. How good is it to be back then for this season, of course? Only the second round in, very early stages of this season 2, and we are here at the Spanish Grand Prix with 11 drivers actually with times on the board. Let's have a look down the grid then. Mikey GTI is having a go around. No, actually, I'm quite confused actually. Give me 2 seconds. I'll quickly have a look at the finishing results, because for some reason something's telling me Mikey won a race, and then also Billy Mewis won a race. So right, hang on a minute. Let's have a look at this then. Last race around then in Silverstone. Yes, Mikey GTI won it. So I'm getting confused with something else there. For some reason with Billy Mewis. Might have been another race that I'm thinking about. Maybe the pre-season race we did possibly is the one. But Mikey GTI then, the man that we've just said, went on to win the race last time around. Here he is today on the front row of the grid in qualifying. A lovely time to kick-start this evening off for him. And he's not far off that pole position today, starting from the best spot on the grid if he can, which isn't too far away now. Only 0.2 of a second to do so. Ferrari for Life then isn't too far back behind him in P3. Billy Mewis then, the world champion in this league, and of course not leading the championship for the first time in a while going into this season now, only the second round. It'll be Mikey GTI that will be leading the world championship at the moment then, after winning the previous race. Bruiser in 6th position then. He makes his way around the final 2 sets of corners, which were altered a few years back. Well, were they? Am I thinking about the right track? My brain is completely mashed. It really, really is. Oh, let's have a look. Charlie in the chat. Hello, mate. It's good to see you. Welcome in. So here comes Ferrari for Life then, making his way round. And yes, it was altered, of course, because there's the chicane. And he makes his way around into the pit lane, and Ferrari for Life then is going to conclude that lap there. Why am I doing one here? I don't know, Charlie, honestly. I really don't know. It's been a quiet day today at the minute on the stream. A few more in the WRC Twitch, possibly, but it's a quiet day on the commentary tonight, unfortunately. I think we're going to get a quiet one, but people like watching these streams back, so at least this will be there for them to watch once this is all over. But Malone is the fastest in the final sector, putting up a fastest sector 3 in a purple, as he puts himself in P5 then at the moment. Mackie, your fastest man. Nova Piper managing to get himself into second place in the kicks out, but that's a very nice effort then for pole. Only 0.2 of a second off there, and very close indeed to Mikey GTI's time. So some competition there for the Aston Martin. It was really going to start to feel, you know, Nova Piper now breathing down his neck. I mean, he's beat him already, but some big competition there for him. There really, really is, as 10 minutes remaining of your session. Also, ladies and gentlemen, quite an exciting thing coming up is, of course, here at WRC, they're trying to expand, and they are expanding into Project Motor Racing, I think it's called. Yeah, Project Motor Racing, of course, another game that's just come out, and they needed a commentator. They've asked me to do it, and I've never commentated anything like that, the GT3 cars and stuff. It's completely different to me, but I've accepted it, and I think I'm going to do it. So Sunday nights, everybody, it's going to be me on the commentary for the GT3 League, the GT3 tier then, on, you know, Project Motor Racing here for WRC. So that should be quite exciting. A bit of a learning curve for me, but of course, it's going to incorporate most of the usual motorsport rules. And, you know, there's just a few little bits that I'll have to pick up on. But I think over time it'll get better. And hopefully the streams will be, you know, fairly decent to watch. The only thing I can fault about it, though, is on the game, the spectator menu is nowhere near as good as this F1 menu. This is absolutely brilliant. As Mackie, with a 1/10 of a second found on the last lap around, back on pole position even further now. 1 minute 12.1, just about then, everybody, into the 1 minute 11s. As you can see, the track here is a pretty short one. The track distance isn't too much, and it's fairly similar to Austria on lap times. It's very short, and Canada as well, quite a short track, you know, on the Formula 1 calendar, but only 10 rounds of the season here in WRC, and we have already, you know, after this one, completed 2 out of the 10. So how fast does the season go? It really does. Before you know it, half season distance will be coming around. F1 Mikey Boy then, who is a pretty fast driver here in WRC, the league owner as well, and sat in 4th position at the moment in the Mercedes. But 8 minutes of your quali session left. F1 Mikey Boy, I believe, is getting his car ready to go on the lap again. He's in the non-ERS and must be just trying to scavenge some ERS left before he can go into a lap. But he just go into the pit lane on his Southall. Yeah, he hits the nail on the head there. Billy in 11th. What a fall off. Billy down in P11 and not able to improve. An invalidated lap time means he's going to be starting at the moment provisionally from 11th on the grid. Well out of position there for Billy Muir's 15, as we know, won the World Championship last season round for the first season of WRC. He returns this season. Last round, I don't think was too bad. Today, though, 11th position, qualifying the first time ever, I think, I've seen him qualify outside of the top 10 here in WRC. Will that continue? Will he be able to get himself into the top 10 before that timer runs down to 0? Still, about 6 minutes probably left of this session, as MCL is going to be heading on a lap in a moment. There's Noah in the chat. Welcome in, mate. It's good to see you in the WRC stream tonight. Hopefully you're having a good day. We've got 7 minutes of qualifying remaining, and MCL is about to go on a lap. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. P12 for the McLaren as he tries to get some improvement. As he invalidates around the final corner. There's no way. No way. Ruined it before it even started for MCL. As Humboldt now retires from the session. Oh, Barcelona, absolutely Barcelona. What a track it is. I've not commentated here in a long while. Long while. But it's funny. It really is funny because The tracks come in circles. You know, I'm doing Barcelona today, and I can guarantee you, fairly soon, I'll do quite a few more Barcelonas in other leagues. They always come around in circles and group together. It's really, really weird. But I'll never forget, I had this run. I think it was a run of Silverstone or something like that. Multiple times in a week, because one of the Red Bulls has gone around there, throwing for life into the wall, spinning around at the back of the track. As he gets himself back on, only on an outlap though, so not too damaging to his day. There's Daryl in second place, rounds off the final corner with 100% battery. Now finally switches the ERS mode to hot lap, and the battery now gets to deploy all of the saved up battery that has been charged up throughout the lap, and Daryl is going to make his way through the first two corners now then, with 60% battery left already down the main straight, using nearly 40% and using even more then all the way up towards the end of the first sector. The Haas car, of course, today is running for pole position, and that time that he's just gained in sector 1 has allowed him to go purple. That will allow him pole position, and this is what is going to get him a good time if he can continue with this form this evening. Through the left-hander then, which goes up the top, and to the right-hand side. There's a car on the inside there waiting for Daryl to come and slingshot through the blind right-hand side turn. Up the top of the hill there then, as he brakes hard to the left-hand side. Second place at the moment, and he's purple in sector 2 as well. Daryl in the Haas is on for pole today, and I don't think I've ever said that. This man is really showing up then tonight here in Portugal as he makes his way round the final here in Barcelona, sorry. Daryl round the final corner and up towards the line. What can the Haas do? It is not enough for pole. He's down by 1/10 of a second, ruining his lap then on the final few corners, everybody. And Daryl in the Haas has screwed up that time, unfortunately. It was on for pole position, not anymore, as he is still sitting in second place and will not move from there anytime soon. Mikey GTI, low fuel mode then in the pit lane this go around. Nova Piper, he's making his way through then, medium ERS mode, and this could be, his teammates beached it on the side. So Zappy fully beached it. But I cannot believe that Daryl was on for pole, and he really was. Purple sector 1 and 2, but just fumbled the final sector there. Still got time to come back and bounce back from it, but it isn't a lot of time, and it will only give him enough time for one more lap, really, if he wants to get a good one in. Daryl hasn't got much time on his hands now then, and he needs to get it right this next time around. F1 Mikey boy, he's in 4 in the Mercedes, and currently second row of the grid. As we know, this man, his qualifying pace can be good. In my opinion, his race pace is a hell of a lot better. This man's racecraft is incredible, and we know how well he can manoeuvre through the pack. Of course, in Silverstone, he did have a bad start. I think starting quite high up, of course, and falling down all the way to about P9. It was P7, 8 or 9. It was around the bottom of the top 10. But he's always good at making comebacks, and Mikey today might just be able to get a good jump on the drivers in front then going into the Grand Prix. But 4th place at the moment. So Zappy in 5th position then with a 10th and a half up in Sector 1. As now he has the end of Sector 2. Will this be any improvement for Zappy? He is down by nearly 0.5 of a second. That is an absolutely awful lap for him. He doesn't, want to be doing laps like that, unfortunately, but it's just come about. Jacob in the chat, so annoyed at myself, he said. He's not very happy at all. It's out on Mikey P3 in quali and P5 in the race. Zappy missing the pit lane entry there. But a great qualifying session so far here in WRC. Always good. It really is good. And we do have your race intro coming your way after this session too, which will be very nice to do as well. But first, qualifying has to be wrapped up, everybody. And we are far from it. Only a few minutes to go, but There's, oh, Malone off the side of the track there, but everybody's trying to fight their way around, and there's not going to be a lot of room now for the drivers to get, you know, a good clean lap on the board to conclude this session and to conclude their day. Darrell in second place then, of course, who isn't going to be happy with himself because he was on for pole by a fine, well, by quite a big margin actually. You know, it was looking really good, purple sector 1 and 2, and it was showing all the signs of a pole position. Lap time today though, only second place at the minute. He couldn't improve on his final lap around, but he's going to give it one more go and round the final corner with 50 seconds to go on the clock. Darrell, this is his final time of the day. No more retakes now. This is it. The final lap for him, and he has to get it right. Only 55% battery heading down the main straight, so already compromised in that area as he doesn't have as much EOS as he could have saved up. He does head through the first sector though, and he was purple last lap around. Has he finally found time again this on this run as well? Oh, he's 300ths of a second down as Mackie improves even more. With 100th of a second faster, he's back on pole position. Darrell then is making his way all the way through. We're going to try and see what his middle sector is looking like. As we know, he could have been on pole. Can he try and retake that again today? He's retaken the lap, but will it be enough then to improve hugely? He's going to make his way down towards the end of sector 2. Darrell here then, up by a 10th of a second. That is exactly all he needs then to be on pole. He needs to try and keep this final sector good. 15% battery left as he keeps the car tight and neat on the inside line, running it wide here, making sure not to invalidate as it clips the inside to hit the apex. Now up towards the line then, the final run, foot flat to the floor, DRS activated. Is Darrell on for pole? He misses out by half a 10th of a second, and Darrell, third place today as Ferrari for life. He goes on to pole position, 1 minute 11.932, and he now is the quickest man in this session. Will he be beaten as Nova Piper makes his way around the final corner? Here comes Nova over the line. Nova Piper goes to P6 and at the end of qualifying. F1 Mikey Boy isn't going to go on another lap around. That is it for him. Mackie goes into the pit lane. Andy J. Price spins around. Matt Connor towards the line is going to improve to P11. It's Romeo Blues then, the new driver here today, making his way around P18 at the minute for him, and he goes into the pit lane. That'll be the end of his lap, so I can officially call it, everybody. Ferrari for life is on pole position for the Spanish Grand Prix. Look at that. Billy Mewis qualifying nearly outside of the top 10 today in P9. What is going on there? What is going on there then for Billy Mewis? Have you seen the gap between the times, by the way, everybody? As Ollie Southall mentions that in the chat a moment ago. Look how close qualifying is today. It is absolutely marginal. Ferrari for life, just beating them all to it at the very end of quali. But Mackie, Mikey, Darrell, Mikey Boy, Nova Piper, Malone, Zazapi, all the way down. It goes all the way down to P4, P12, P13. That is just incredible. That is just incredible. All very close within the 1 minute 12s. That is why this league is the best, everybody. I just want to say as well, I do apologise. Well, no, it doesn't really matter to you, does it? But I've deleted the JCC intro, so it's just going to be straight into the... You know, it's just going to be straight into the main intro today. So that'll be good. Ferrari for Life is happy with that one. Love to see it. Here's your finishing results then, everybody. Ferrari for Life on pole position by nearly 0.2 of a second to Mackie in second place. Mikey GTI takes third then. Joining him on the second row of the grid is Darrell in 4. F1 Mikey Boy and Nova Piper line up in 5 and 6. Joined by Malone and Zazapi in 7 and 8. Billy Mewis well out of position starting in 9. And Josh rounds off the top 10 this evening. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, is your race intro, and we're going to get straight into it today. Like I said, no messing about. We are going to jump right into this one, and I am very excited to do so. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to the Spanish Grand Prix here for WRC, the second round of this second season running. We've just had the qualifying session. Billy Mewis well out of position, but Ferrari for Life taking that crucial pole position going into this Grand Prix today. The track then on your screen, and what a track it is. Quite a short one indeed then here in Spain. 2.9 miles long at a track distance. 33 laps now we're going to be doing today, and a top speed just shy of 200 miles per hour then down that main straight. Of course, 16 turns as well across the entire circuit, and an elevation of around 30 metres. Here is the tyres then that Pirelli have issued us today. It's the C3, the C2 and the C1, the hardest set of tyres that they issue to us here in Formula 1, and they should be quite good to be getting on with today. Then into the main action we go, which isn't going to be starting as early as it normally does because the JCC intro, I went through my files on my PC and deleted half of my files by accident. So I don't have that anymore, which I'm going to have to remake it. I think it was overdue anyway. It was a very rubbish intro. And it was very lazy of me not to get it sorted and changed, given that I make these race intros every week. So we'll get that sorted, make it a bit better, and maybe, just maybe, because WRC is the best league, we could maybe do a, just exclusive to you guys, a WRC driver race intro like I made for the Christmas race, and we could have that, for each season. That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it, at the start of the streams? So if you think that's a good idea, maybe we could do that. I'll have a look into it. But anyway, the formation lap then, everybody, here in Spain for round 2 of the WRC World Championship. Ferrari for Life starts on pole position today with 20 drivers joining us, and 20 drivers means possibly some carnage here and there. But these drivers know how to race, and they have the ability to keep it clean, so we'll see if they can achieve that today. Mackie just behind Ferrari for Life, then Mikey GTI, the race winner from the first round of the season. Darrell in 4th place then, who could have been on for pole, like I mentioned. His lap was absolutely brilliant, but even after that lap, if he did complete the lap that never got completed, would have Ferrari for Life been able to beat him still? I think he would have, but Darrell would have still been higher on the grid, which is what is going to annoy him. F1 Mikey Boy, watch his position too. He's one to watch, P5, and we know that he is good at making up those places on the first lap. He did lose a few on the first round of the season, but I think that was just a bit of a fluke. I don't think that was a true representation of Mikey, and he can do a lot better than that. 5th position for him. 6th then, Nova Piper, Maloon 7, Zazapi 8, 9, Billy Mewis, and 10 is Josh. Billy Mewis, it's shocking to see him down in P9, the world champion, starting so far back. Lewis Hamilton, he's turning into a bit of a Lewis Hamilton right now, isn't he? But it's still early stages, I'm joking. Still early stages for him. Only one race where he's out of position, and he does get set back off his grid spot as well. Here we go then for the second round of the season, everybody. On the grid then. Here for the second round of WRC. Here we go then. Ferrari for Life on pole position here for the Spanish Grand Prix. 5 lights, and it's lights out, and away we go, and Ferrari for Life off the line quite well. He's got Mackie already trying to chase him, though, up the inside. Mackie goes through into the lead. Ferrari for Life loses down to 2nd place. Here comes Mikey GTI then, putting on the back foot here on the outside line. Loses 2 positions, and I told you to watch Mikey Boy. He's already into 3rd place on the race start. A great start from the Mercedes M. Mikey GTI down to 4, Nova Piper 5, Darrell 6 then. There's lots of cars making their way through the right-hand side here, trying not to make contact. Sandwiching through, it's Bruiser up the inside line. Can he get ahead? He goes side by side with the Alpine. Now the Alpine's battling with the Mercedes. Lots of wing damage there for Andy J. Price, who makes contact on the back end there of one of the drivers. He's trying to get ahead here of Bruiser. Now he drops back behind him, not able to get through, but still making contact. Off the track there in front is Zappi, losing places, quite a lot of positions actually, all the way down the grid, down to P17 as he gets onto the gravel trap. Here we go, the drivers continue. Off the side of the track there goes MCL, I believe. Ferrari actually, no, it was Blake who went off the side of the track there, as very wide as well goes one of the Red Bulls of AW. Lots of carnage at the back of the grid then, and we look to the front again in the Alpine there of Josh. Wow, that man losing his rears there, just about keeping it on the track, and now he's on the backside of Matt Connor, forcing Matt Connor wide. He goes up the inside line here in WRC into P9, and Josh makes an incredible move up ahead into 9th position. Mackie now trying to fight Ferrari for Life off and keeping him at bay. The man that started on pole position is going to be getting very angry at himself for letting this Ferrari get past him and ruin his hopes and dreams of a race win here in Spain. which isn't looking like it's going to happen at the moment. F1 Mikey Boy. I mentioned on the formation lap, I said, watch F1 Mikey Boy. We know what this man is like. He's very good at making places up at the start. He did lose quite a lot on the first lap of Silverstone round 1. But his redemption is today, and he's third place at the moment. He's got Ferrari for Life in his sights. Behind, it's Matt Connor and Humboldt that are still giving it a good battle then through the left to the right-hand side, all the way up top of the hill. Through blind corner, and Humboldt making his way on the backside of Matt Connor here. Is it going to be enough for a move, though? A long DRS train that we're witnessing between the drivers here in Spain at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. It's the second lap of the Grand Prix. It's very nearly complete. We're going to move on to the third in a moment. At the back of the grid goes AW, and it hasn't been a very good start for him now then, losing positions. As on your screen is your position gainers and losers then. It's Mackie up 1, Ferrari for Life down 1, F1 Mikey Boy gaining 2, as Bruiser and Humboldt now. Here comes Bruiser on Matt Connor up the inside for a move, and behind that lots of action taking place then, everybody, as up the inside tries Andy J. Price. Is he going to be able to go around the outside here of Humboldt? He absolutely is going to give it his best shot, and he has done so. Gets into P12. Humboldt now drops down to 13. MCL watching this one along with Drippy just behind that. Trying to get ahead there was Drippy, but he couldn't do so. AW then retires from the session at the very start of this race. Lap 3 of 33, already losing one driver. Mackie's still leading by 0.8 of a second, and I do fear when he gets over that 1 second margin, if he ever does, Ferrari for Life's going to struggle. He really is. My bad, I've just realised, actually. I've just no, I got confused for no reason then. Never mind. Mackie ahead. My bad. 405 second place. Mikey GTI third. It's Andy J. Price then getting ahead of Matt Connor now, who dips into the pit lane. I'm assuming some early wing damage there that he's picked up on his car, and he's going to go and get it changed. Noah in the chat. Can't wait for Thursday. My first race. Good to hear, mate. Really good to hear. I'm also going to be on the commentary now for the Project Motor Racing part of the league on the Sundays. So that should be quite good. It's going to take me a little bit to pick it up completely, but hopefully I can still provide some good action to these streams, and we're going to try and bring in some nice race intros and stuff like that for the Project Motor Racing. But I believe nearly a full grid for that, so it's going to be very nice indeed. But do not worry, I'm going to stay here on the Tuesdays as well. I'm just going to be here for Tuesday and Sunday, of course. But the fourth lap of 33 that we have here at the moment. And MCL now is going to try and gain on Humboldt in front. Humboldt going a bit wide and actually picking up a penalty because of that as well. As the McLaren's trying to gain off the back of the track there. Goes Drippy. He is off onto the gravel. And far down now, trying to get himself back on and back involved with the action, but very far away now. As around the final corner we go, and the drivers continue on with the great action. F1 Mikey Boy makes an early pit stop then. I'm not entirely sure why he's making an early pit stop. We'll see if it... Oh, he's on the soft compound tyres. That does make sense. Soft compound will have worn out quite quickly. He goes in now. They're waiting to put a new wing on him, actually. That might be the reason why they're changing it. New wing goes on then for Mikey Boy. He exits the pit lane now. Drippy retires in the pit lane. 2 drivers now retiring from the session, and we are left with 18 people here in this Grand Prix for Spain. It's Mackie ahead. Ferrari for Life still P2 now. Mikey GTI P3. But hopefully you guys are enjoying the action so far. It's been very nice to watch. It really has. And we're only 5 laps in at 33. A long way to go. Still lots of action coming your way. No safety cars as of now, or virtual safety cars or anything of that sort. But it still could happen very, very early at the moment. As around the final corner goes Mikey GTI, along with the rest of the drivers in a DRS train. Billy Mewis then, who started in P9, as we know, and out of position. Now he's trying to gain on the guys in front. He's already up into P5. As ahead of that, Ferrari for Life gets into the race lead, and he's back where he started. On pole position as he now takes P1 once again. Of course, only had it for a few seconds then on the first lap of the Grand Prix. We got overtaken straight away by Mackie, and now Fire for Life has managed to snatch that back. Is this now the chance for him to pull ahead into the distance? Mikey GTI putting mounds of pressure on the backside of Mackie at the minute. Fire for Life over the line then, 1 minute 15.793 is his fastest time now, as down the straight we go, and the huge DRS train is causing some lovely overtakes. Here comes Malone then round the outside of Nova Piper as he gets in front of him into P6. That is a great move past him. Now he just has to try and hold it in the pit lane. Is Andy J. Price. Please say he's not retiring either. I think it would just be an early pit stop here then, as he's on the hard compound tyres now and getting those tyres changed. I assume he was on the softs to start with, but he's gone in now and got them sorted out. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying the action so far, everybody. 7 laps in, and wow, it is very quiet in the Jack Hosty Comms chat tonight. Mega quiet, most quiet it's been in a while. But there's quite a few of you in the WRC, and that is brilliant. It makes up for it, definitely does. There's some action here. I think off the track there, went one of the drivers. I think it was Josh, off the side of the track. There's in the chat, Spa Thursday, isn't it? I mean, honestly, I'm really not sure about the Thursday races. I know that it's Spa on Sunday for the pre-season event in Project Motor Racing, but I'm not entirely sure about the Thursday WRC F1 League. As in the pit lane goes Nova Piper with a 10-second time penalty. That is not what he wants to be getting himself today, but a 10-second time, but it is what he has managed to get. Now in the pit lane, of course, soft compound tyres. He has to get them changed pretty early because they will not do him any good. As he gets those sorted out, the hard compound tyres on and exiting the pit lane now in the P14, maybe lower. Look at that down the straight then. Round the outside goes Romeo Blues on Blake. These guys are giving it a lovely battle then through the first few corners. Switching back underneath goes Blake as he looks for the outside line, but Romeo Blues already with the advantage manages to hold on to P12 here today. The Ferrari has to wait his turn, but now maybe this is his chance up the inside line. Contact made there on the tyres. Bit of contact there, but it's just racing for you. And Blake does lose a bit of position, does lose a bit of time there. Locking up hugely goes Romeo Blues. Here comes Blake round the outside line into P12, and Romeo loses that position. 13th position now is his as he loses down 1. There's Billy Mewis then. Billy Mewis is in that pit lane now. And going in for some new tyres. It'll be, I don't know about a wing, sorry. He may have a bit of wing damage, but no, it's straight away. Quick pit stop, medium compound tyres, and he will exit the pit lane now quite nicely. Overtaken by 2, maybe 3, probably 4 or 5 drivers actually when he exits the pit lane, or maybe it's not that. He exits now. Will he get out ahead? He does get out ahead, doesn't he? For a brief moment. Is it going to be enough to stay ahead? No, he doesn't, but only 2 positions lost there. Not too bad at all for Billy Mewis, as he now doesn't have as much work to do regaining. Lap 9 of 33. Is lap 11, of course, the third into this race. We aren't there yet. As Fire for Life still leading. Mackie second place. And that gap now is 0.3 of a second. Is that going to come closer? Is that going to extend out even further and make our way around the final few corners to take ourselves on to the 10th lap of 33? Will there be any safety car maybe? Well, I don't know, man. I do not know. Maybe the safety car. I'd actually like to see a safety car. I really would, personally. I think it would be very good. But Doesn't always happen. These guys are quite clean with the racing as well, so it isn't as common. As up the inside line goes Bruiser on Maloon. Maloon has to wait his turn now, loses a position there down to P5. As a little bit off topic, everybody, but Audi released their F1 car early on. What do you think of the livery? I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a pretty cool livery, but let me know what you think, guys. What do you think of the Audi livery? I think it's pretty cool. We'll have to pit it at least once. Yes. Yeah, no, sorry, Matt. I didn't even read that properly. Yeah, so in F1, you get one mandatory pit stop. We have to go on to another set of tyres. But a safety car still could mix it up. It would actually probably mean more pit stops, but it would mean better racing in that sense. Billy Murias getting ahead of Blake now into P11. This man is making up those moves. We saw him down in P13 or 14, I think it was, only a few laps to go. He's already making those moves up into P11, and he's making a very nice job of it at the moment then. Here's Nova Piper and Blake. Blake loses out Nova up the inside line and sending himself through up into P12. Ahead of that then, Daryl and Mikey GTI. They swap around as Daryl into second place. Oh, non-stop race, no safety. I understand what you mean now, mate. My bad. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, would be pretty cool, but maybe we'll get a safety car that will, you know, change that around. We'll find out. A third into the race now, then. How fast is this year going so far, though? Quite a few commentaries have completed already. I think this is the third one for WRC of this year at the moment, which has gone very fast indeed. I've completed about 2 to 3 PGS streams, you know, and Extinguished Motorsports. We've been back for a while now since Christmas. A lot of streams have completed, a lot of hours of commentating. But lap 11 of 33 then in F1, sorry, Ferrari for life, is your race leader. He started on pole position, you know, wearing that absolutely beautiful Red Bull one-off livery. It is brilliant, it really is. And I'm glad he got that on today. What a car that is, what a livery that is. As Maloon and Bruiser, they're still going at it, down into turn 1. Maloon into P4 as we see this now, and down into 5 is Bruiser. And I'm going to put on the position changes for a moment, and sorry, the pit stops for a moment, and you can see all the way down to P7. No driver has made a pit stop. Everybody else has been into the pit lane. I'm pretty sure Maloon is commentating Thursday. Yeah, fair enough. Maloon is commentated under my network a few times, and I cannot fault him. A good commentator he is, actually, very good indeed, and does a very good job. So I wish him the best of luck if he is doing Thursday, because he's actually very good. But yeah, lap 12 of 33 at the moment. And still Fire for Life dominating this right now all round. There's gone Bruiser as MCL manages to make him pass past him. But Bruiser loses positions here, then down to P6. And the drivers behind him that have pitted are getting ever closer now. That is not what he wanted to do, and that might have just screwed his race up here. As he's going to go into the pit lane now. Realises this is the best course of action for him. As Bruiser in the pit lane now getting on hard compound tyres till the end, starting on the mediums. Now's making his pit stop. Lots of different strategies here today. People started on the softs, people started on the mediums, and the medium runners are still going up in from P1 all the way down to P6. was Andy J. Price and Zazapi then down in P11 and 12. Zazapi up the inside line, and he makes a move there past Andy J. Price, marking his territory here in P11 on the 14th go around. Nova Piper, his teammate, is a few seconds in front of that one then, round the final corner and towards the line then into P9 he is at the moment. Sidemen in 7 as Mackie, I think, just made a move into P6 as he now breaks into the set of drivers that haven't made pit stops. This is now a crucial turning point in the Grand Prix. Humboldt with a penalty. There's a Zappy in F1 Mikey Boy, then P10, then 11. Round the outside line, there goes Zappy into P10. F1 Mikey Boy loses that place down to P11. He's in the bunch of drivers that has made pit stops. And Billy Mewis, you know, essentially in second place at the moment because of pit stops that haven't came in. Friday for Life is going to go into the pit lane now along with Malone. You see, this is where it gets a bit interesting because these guys that have pitted onto the mediums, are they on for the 2-stop strategy today? I'm not entirely sure what the strategies are really, but I'm assuming they are because the mediums to the end is a long way, it really is, and I'm excited to see which way the strategies are going to go. 2-stop strategy seems optimal. Yeah, Billy 2-stop. Yeah, I assume so. Yeah. As we're soon to reach that half-race distance then here, ladies and gentlemen, and it is Malone in P13 who's made a pit stop along with everybody else around him on the 15th lap now. Sidemen in P5, MCL 3, Mikey 2, Daryl in P1 and still leading this Grand Prix, but yet to make a pit stop, of course, on the medium compound tyres, which he can run as long as he sees fit. And now is the chance to go into the pit lane. He thinks Daryl in the pit lane. Then everybody, Mikey GTI second place. He's going to go in as well. Both of the drivers going into the pit lane now as Ollie Southall on his pit wall for the race. Oh, fair enough. Fair play. As MCL now gains track position, continues on and gets ahead of Daryl and Mikey GTI, of course, who went into the pit lane. Here comes Billy Mewis up the inside line of Sidemen. That was a lovely pass, went into P3, wasn't it? A great move then as he gets ahead on lap 16. But yeah, a bit off topic, but like I mentioned, I'll be commentating on the Sunday, everybody, for the Project Motor Racing. So if you're interested, come and show some support for that. Starting this Sunday, we will be doing that. So I'm looking forward to be giving that a go and seeing if I've got the knack for it, because I've never done it before. So we'll find out. We will find out if that is my thing or not. But I think it will be. Proper engines, proper cars. Best know, are you not commentating Friday? No, mate. I do commentate Friday, but for a different league. Friday is commentated by JP, the other Jack. It is quite funny here in WRC. It's Simon in the pit lane. It is quite funny how the two commentators that cover it are JC and JP. It really is. As here comes Andy J. Price then, looking for a move. He looks out the outside line there, but there's no move on Malone just yet. But he's going to continue on lap 17 of 33. Romeo with a penalty now. Penalty starting to rack up slowly but surely, but really not a lot compared to the amount of drivers that are here today. 18 drivers still remaining. As F1 Mikey Boy with a 3-second time penalty. There's no I'm going to head off. See you Sunday. No worries, mate. See you later. Thank you very much for joining us, mate. I appreciate your support tonight. Look at this then. Look at this with the drivers making their way down the main straight now. Then it's Malone trying to get ahead here then of Josh. He's going to try his best around the outside line now as he dives to it. He cannot get ahead just here though, as they're trying to keep themselves very nice and clean to avoid any contact collisions and bring any safety cars out. There's F1 Mikey Boy up in P9. And I'm not entirely sure how this strategy is going to go. As we know, the drivers in front of him are on the on the medium compound tyres, meaning they're going to go on a 2-stop strategy. F1 Mikey Boy is on the hards here, and these can go till the end if they are, you know, managed well enough. And F1 Mikey Boy could do exactly that. He could do exactly that today, you know, and possibly get a good finish at the end of it. As Zappy makes a great move past his teammate there. You just saw it on the camera, getting ahead into P7 and managing to find his place. That is a very nice move. Getting ahead then just before the winding sets of turns as MCL in the pit lane. And he's the last driver in the race to make a pit stop that needs to. Now he's going to be losing places, ladies and gentlemen. Losing a lot of places actually after making a pit stop so late into the race. He's going to come out just behind the, well, it might be in front of the Racing Bull here, into the first corner. Is the Racing Bull going to pass him? He is going to pass him then into the first corner on lap 19 of 33. As Humboldt now makes a pit stop. He goes onto the hard compound tyres and exits now. MCL with a 3-second time penalty, everybody, as Mackie goes into the pit lane. He's on the mediums, remember. This is going to be his 2-stop now into the pits. He's going to go on to the hards, I'm assuming. Yes, he is. Till the end of the race. Here we go then. This is where the proper strategies start to come into full effect. In the pit lane as well is the Zappy. As here comes Maloon then on the backside of Josh. They pass the pit lane. And here comes Maloon on the inside line. Will this be a move? Off the side of the track there. Has to dive Josh, who goes into the barrier there. And contact made on the wall as he gets a damaged wing. Maloon retires from the session as well. And the safety car comes out here in Spain. Safety car deployed, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Never expected that at the end. I don't know how Maloon actually retired. I saw, was it sight? I can't remember now. You know, go off the side of the track. But Maloon retires from the session, ladies and gentlemen. Blake's here, passing the safety car, then Romeo Blue's doing the same thing, as this is where you're going to get your pit stops. Let me just say, the drivers that just made their pit stops, not a good idea at all. It really wasn't, because the safety car came out just after Billy Mewis then has now gone into the pit lane to go on for the medium compound tyres again. 4th place for Mikey TTI. Everybody's in the pit lane now. What we're going to do, let everybody come into the pits, let everybody rejoin up, and then we're going to have a look through the tyres and see what everybody's starting on for the race starting again soon. This could be a dream for Billy, says Ollie. It very well could be. The man that started down in P9 might just be able to claw it back again. But the story of today then, everybody, safety car has come out and we have had nearly everybody on the track into the pit lane. Blake with the penalty now. We're going to have a look at your brand new tyres for the drivers, a mix of mediums and hards. So it's Daryl then, who hasn't pitted on the 5-lap-old hards. Then it's Billy Mewis too on the brand new mediums, along with Fire for Life and MCL. It's Bruiser and Mackie on the hards, whereas Mackie's actually on the brand new hards pretty much. Of course, he made a pit stop not long ago. Mikey GTI and the brand new mediums, brand new hards for Mikey, brand new mediums for Andy J. Price, new hards for Zazapi, new mediums for Nova Piper, fairly new hards for both Matt Connor and Humboldt, and then brand new mediums ready for Josh Sidemen and Blake. Romeo Blue at the back on the brand new hards as well. So pretty much for everybody, brand new tyres apart from the odd few. Bruce is on the 9-lap-old hards, Daryl's on the 6-lap-old hards. That's not what he wants. It's going to do Billy Mewis and Fire for Life very well. Do not count Fire for Life out. Well, this has gone in the favour of quite a few drivers tonight. Lap 22 of 33, 2/3 in, a third left to go then of this Grand Prix then, and Daryl is your leader. However, he is on the brand new, on the older, hard compound compared to everybody around him, which is pretty much on the grand spanking new tyres, which is not in his favour at all. And he might just struggle. He might just struggle when we go racing. We'll have to find out how it actually is when the drivers carry on. But here we go then, everybody. The safety car in at the end of this lap. We're about to go racing again on lap 22 of 33. Here we go. Safety car coming in. Lap 23 is going to be your first racing lap back, and the safety car goes into the pit lane. Daryl's the pace car pretty much at the moment, as he now gets to lead the drivers around the final corner and start them off whenever he sees fit. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. Daryl all the way up towards the line. And will he have any competition? We go racing again then, here today in Spain. Fire for Life gaining on Billy Mewis here then, all of them darting to the racing line. As up the inside goes Fire for Life, trying to go for a gap there as he gets hit wide there, and MCL goes into P3. Ladies and gentlemen, as Andy J. Price now with a penalty as well. The battles so far have been very nice. Look at this 3-car battle here. Mikey GTI trying to get ahead of Mackie and Bruiser at the same time. Bruiser leaves him room. Bruiser goes off wide as Mikey goes into P5. Mikey GTI then drops down positions as Billy Mewis is now your race leader here today, ladies and gentlemen, and losing positions. There's Bruiser all the way down to P9. What's going on with him? Up the inside line goes Nova Piper, trying to get ahead here side by side on lap 23 of 33. Nova couldn't get ahead there, actually had to concede the position as Billy Mewis. This man has gone from P9 on the grid all the way to the race lead, and it's just been an incredible race for him so far. He could be on for that race win if he can continue on with this kind of form. All these mediums going to last 10 more laps then around this Spanish Grand Prix circuit. I think they might just be able to with Billy Mewis at the wheel as we head round the final corner and towards the line. Billy across the line with MCL gaining on him. Could MCL take this away from him? He's on the older medium compound tyres with barely any ERS left, doing what he can to gain on the world champion in front. And Billy really doesn't have any ERS either. They're both really in the same boat. It's down at the back of the grid. Yellow flags have come out as Josh goes into the wall. Josh is around everybody in P17. Is ahead of that. Zazapi up the inside line. Matt Connor is up the inside now. Zazapi's going to try and keep himself planted on the inside line here to give himself a good chance at staying in front. And it has worked for today as Matt Connor gets pushed wide. Through go the drivers up the inside line is trying sidemen, forcing himself off the track there then as the Williams teammate of Romeo Blues having to move out of the way of him to ensure that he doesn't hit him as he flew past, and testing out the reflexes there. Billy Mewis then in the race lead on the 3-lap old mediums. Very new tyres around here then as he heads up towards the line, start lap 25, sorry. I think Billy Mewis just set a 1:15 flat there, but he got beaten 3 times. There's F1 Mikey Boy and Mackie. They're both going to go into turn 1, and Mikey does get ahead into P5. Mackie's now at danger because he's got Andy J. Price on the backside of him. Bearing in mind, let me just tell you actually, Mikey on the podium last race around. He had a great race. Nova Piper looking for a move up the inside line here. Can he get ahead? He's going to try his best, but not enough here. Is Andy J. Price keeping his car planted around the outside line. He's got his sights on Mackie in front as well. As he makes contact with Mackie. Mackie goes around. Andy J. Price makes the Ferrari spin on lap 25 of 33. Round goes Mackie, everybody. Such a shame for Mackie. That man was driving brilliantly. It was going his way, you know, absolutely brilliantly, wasn't it? But today now it really isn't. Up the inside line then is trying Ferrari for life. The man that started on pole position is now trying to take a move away from MCL. Up the inside line, on the front row of the grid goes Ferrari for life. Second place is all his as he makes a move past into P2. Gutted for Mackie, he was rapid, says Ollie. I completely agree. Mackie was doing great. Mikey GTI makes a great move up the inside of MCL here, getting in front of him. MCL now is going to try around the outside line to get ahead as the Aston Martin completely blocks him up there and says no thank you. Doesn't let him through at all, does he? But we have 4 laps to 30 and then only 3 more till the end. Not many to go, ladies and gentlemen, before we round off this round 2 of WRC. Do not forget we have top 3 interviews of the podium drivers here tonight coming up after this session, which is only in a few minutes' time. Ferrari for life for the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, which is quite worrying for Billy Mewis because he is right behind him by half a second. Behind that is Nova Piper and Andy J. Price then swapping positions around, and the 2 Hasses swap around as well as Humboldt goes into P8, Darrell down to 9. As Blake there is off the track in P17. I'm not entirely sure who yellow flags there, bringing himself back on when we didn't see. But the most important stuff of tonight, Billy Mewis is your race leader. Let me remind you, he started from P9 on the grid. Now he is P1 and on for a win. Zazapi with a 3-second time penalty, everybody. Adds to the tally of penalties at the moment. For F1 Mikey Boy has a penalty, which is quite, you know, it's something you don't really see from Mikey Boy. There's Matt Conner with a 3-second penalty. More penalties on the grid then, as they do just slowly but surely keep cropping up throughout the race. As we're an hour into the stream, and I'd say about 35 minutes then, or a bit less than that, about 30 minutes into the race tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Billy Mewis is your leader, and he started P9. He's now your leader. Is he going to go ahead and win it, or is Ferrari for Life going to find a bit of pace on the final few laps and make that pass and get through past him to spoil his chances of a win? That is the question that is soon to be answered. The top three, the only drivers up at the front then without a penalty, which is quite convenient for them, isn't it, to keep themselves there. Billy Mewis and Mikey GTI, two drivers that I spoke to, last race around. The podium positions was Mikey GTI 1, second place was Andy J. Price, and third was Billy Mewis, who now gets overtaken by Ferrari for Life. The man that started on pole position is now back in P1 here in Spain. The Red Bull leading this race. Billy Mewis then, he's going to try and get back ahead, but at the minute losing out on that race win. Mikey GTI third at the moment, and one last race around, so he's quite happy. He's got good points at the minute, and this is good consistency for him to keep those points racked up. It really is. Great consistency for him. He should be quite happy with this indeed if he can finish in third place tonight. Lap 29 of 33 then. Only 4 more. Sidemen and Bruiser in P12 and 13 as Bruiser around the track then goes round in P14. Loses positions there as the Williams tries to move out of the way of him, but the ghosting mode was already turned on, so he could phase right through him here in the F1 games. Oh, he goes round again, and Bruiser's rears must be completely cooked now, and that might just be it for his race then. He's down in P16, back of the grid. There is going to be points for all places now, though, so still good points to bring home if you can finish the race. As back up at the front, Billy Mewis is your race leader once more. He's not letting that slip too easily. And back in front of the Red Bull of Ferrari for Life. That is some good stuff from Billy. Just inside of the top 10 he started. And at the minute, he's back in front of Ferrari for Life. Yeah, Ollie Southall, mate, I completely agree with you. There's Bruiser with a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He does retire, though. Never mind. The points will not be gained then for Bruiser now. He doesn't want to finish the race off. And that'll be it for his race. Also, 3 points for him there, but he's just throwing it away, unfortunately. But anyway, lap 30 of 33. Very soon to turn into lap 31. The final few laps of racing then here in Spain are upon us. And Billy Mewis is your race leader. Ferrari for Life 2, Mikey GTI 3, MCL 4, M1 Mikey Boy 5, Nova Piper 6, P7 is Andy J. Price, 8 is Humboldt, 9 Darrell, and 10 is Zazapi. That is your top 10 drivers at the moment then, as MCL getting ahead of Mikey GTI, who now gets shoved off the side of the track. What has happened there for Mikey GTI? He was being really consistent with his points today in the driving, but unfortunately down in P5 now. He will lose out on some points if finishes in this position. Now, oh, the wing's gone. Didn't even realise that. He's going to struggle now. He's going to really struggle in that Aston Martin, which has no wing, and he brings himself back on, but losing all these positions, and Mikey GTI's points are just plummeting to the floor, and unfortunately loses out on a lot of points now. Still will bring home some, but not a lot. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, your penultimate lap of the Grand Prix now begins. Billy Mewis then is your leader as mentioned and holding on to it well. The gap is 2.5 seconds and this could be a race win for him. Mikey GTI retires from the session to end off his race here tonight. Loses out on some points that he could have picked up either way. So unfortunately, no points scored for him, Bruiser, Maloon, Drippy or AW in tonight's Grand Prix. Points for everybody then, if you didn't know everybody, here in the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. As F1 Mikey Boy trying to gain on MCL here, and the final spot for the podium is upon us. Nova Piper is unfortunately too far away here to get any advantage over the time penalties, as the two drivers in front of him have got 3 seconds, which aren't any use to him, unfortunately, as he is 4 seconds out of the action. So this P3 and P4 is the genuine fight for the final spot on the podium, and Mikey Boy could do it. MCL could hold on to it. You do not know which it's going to fall. Is Mikey going to get on the podium, or is MCL going to hold it till the end? Which driver will we get in the interview room? The final lap is upon us then, and this is it, all the way down into the first corner. F1 Mikey Boy to gain on MCL. Will it be Mikey into third? I think it might just be Mikey Boy into P3, everybody. Makes a great move then. Now on the podium places at the minute is Billy Mewis, of course, your leader, by 3.5 seconds. And how well did this go for him? Honestly, how well did this go? Brilliant, brilliant race for Billy Mewis, and you cannot fault the man. World champion from the first season. He comes into the second season, finishing third place and on the podium there in Silverstone, after making a decent comeback into P3. Getting himself onto the podium, which is all he wants. But today, he started from 9th position on the grid, and he's managed to get himself all the way up into P1, the final lap, round the final corner. The world champion, Billy Mewis, is going to win the Spanish Grand Prix from 9th on the grid here in WRC. Ferrari for life over the line in P2, and it's F1 Mikey Boy taking home the final spot on the podium this evening. MCL P4 then, Nova Piper 5, Daryl 6, 7 then is Zazapi, 8 Humboldt, 9 is Sidemen, 10 is Andy J. Price, 11 Matt Connor, 12 Mackie, 13 will be Romeo Blues over the line as Josh making his way round into P14. Whoa, lots of wing damage there. What a race, everybody. What a race that was. Really nicely executed from all the drivers. As here you go then, your finishing results. It's race winner, Billy Mewis, fastest lap, Ferrari for life. Driver of the day goes to MCL. Same with the most overtakes goes to him as well. And cleanest driver is Billy Mewis. There's your finishing results then. Let's get the drivers in the interview room. Let's interview the top 3 drivers of tonight. Right then, let's have a look. Billy Mewis, let's go for you first, mate.
Hello.
Hello, mate. It's good to speak to you again. Spoke to you last week in Silverstone, third place tonight.
Yep.
It's a win, and I've got to admit, a race win, but starting from 9th on the grid, mate. How do you feel about that?
Well, yeah, very good. I had no pace in qualifying. It didn't feel like I had pace in the race, but thanks to Ollie, he did tell me what tyres to use because I didn't have a clue. But yeah, I am very, very surprised. It's unlucky to Ferrari that I span. I don't know what happened, but unlucky.
So, would you say the strategy was the key factor in the outcome today?
Well, I accidentally started on softs because I accidentally clicked start. So I was on softs and I thought my race was screwed, but it did help. I got to like P5 first lap. And then yeah, I did medium to the end.
So, I mean, great result. I mean, that was one of the best drives I've seen in a while. From that, what
Thank you.
positives do you think you can take going into the next round and the rest of the season?
Well, I'm championship leader now, so
Ooh,
I'm just hoping to keep it up with the podiums and yeah, try get some more race wins.
I'm glad to hear it. Well, it's good to speak to you again, Matt. I'm sure we'll speak to you next week.
Good.
So,
Yep.
thank you very much for your time and see you later.
Thank you.
No worries. Friday for life. Finally, it's been a while. Hello. Right.
I don't even know.
Let's start with how do you feel about the result in overall, mate? Second place. You happy with that?
No, I feel like I wouldn't say I'm the quickest for pure pace, but I strung together quite consistent pace, and then the safety car, really.
Yeah. Safety car. It worked in the favour of few, and of course not others. Would you say, in terms of the tyres, how well did they manage here in Spain?
To be fair, mediums want like until it got to like 13 person, and they fell off a cliff.
Really?
Awful.
Ooh. Well, of course, this track can be quite demanding. Was there a certain sector, maybe in qualifying or the race, that you just kept getting wrong? You just couldn't get it, to how you wanted it.
Not particularly a sector, but the corner. I don't even know. It's in sector two, like the long left-hander, like goes downhill.
All right. Okay. Yeah. 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 That's fair enough. That is fair enough. Well, second place, you should be happy with that result, mate. I think that's going to be good for your championship as well. Um, but do you think you're going to be able to continue this form now going into the next round?
100%. I feel pretty confident.
Good. I'm very glad to hear it. You're normally up there, so I'm expecting good stuff from next week. So I appreciate your time, and I'll see you later, mate. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's go to Mikey boy, third place.
Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. I'm very happy for you for that. I saw the battle at the end, and you just about got onto that podium. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, to be fair, I'm really happy with the podium. I'm a bit disappointed after the first few laps. I got a really good start. Went up to third, and then I got some damage off hitting the back of Ferrari. So not sure what happened there, but boxed early, was going, but the tyres just did not feel good at all.
Yeah.
So then the safety car came out. I was boxing that lap anyway. Safety car come out and just saved me a little bit. I was thinking about doing the mediums, but I thought no, the tyres will come back to me at the end, which they did, which is why I was lucky enough to get MCO and nearly even got Ferrari. But yeah, I'll take it. I wasn't very optimistic at the start, so I'll take a P3. And it's fifth and third now, so can only go up.
Absolutely. I'll bring the same questions to you about the tyres. How did they feel on your end throughout this race?
Shit.
Did they?
Oh, mate, the track is so. The problem is, it's such a fast track. Like
Yeah.
a minute and 12 around a track like that is just insane.
It's rapid, yeah.
Going up the right-handed towards the second DRS straight, I nearly lost the back end about 15 times. It was just crazy.
Ooh.
And that's where I got all of my time penalties. So yeah, wasn't happy about the tyres. I went for a low wing setup, which I'm pretty sure pissed a lot of people off because they couldn't get past me down the straight, which was great. But that was my strategy all along. I was gonna, if we didn't have damage, I was gonna go long, hold up the pack, and get my teammate up there as well to bring some points back because we just weren't optimistic at all with this track.
So, from getting on the podium, is there any positive points you think you can take going into next week?
It's a completely different scenario next week. Next week's all going to be about driver skill. It's Monaco, so it's just be whoever can keep it in out of the walls.
Yeah, Monaco.
It's going to be. I love Monaco, love it, but you could see 7 out of the top 10 in the championship out next week. You just do not know. So optimistic for the rest of the season. Tracks only get better for me, but Monaco, I'm just gonna. It's all about qualifying.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, it is a completely different kind of track that is. I'm looking forward to it though. See how the drivers manage. But it's been great to speak to you, mate, and hopefully speak to you next week. See you later.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
No worries. See you later, guys. Well done.
Cheers, mate. Great comms.
Thank you very much. Right then, everybody, that is it from me. Hopefully you enjoyed the interviews. Hopefully you enjoyed the race tonight. It was a very nice race indeed. WRC never disappoints, does it? But we will be back with you at the exact same time next week. I appreciate you joining us. Thank you very much for your time, and have a good evening. Good night.